Hello and welcome back to Perth to Paisley on a day where Hearts have unveiled their new manager. Let's just get this out of the way. I think, Adam, this has been met with like a level of excitement that I don't think you or me in our lifetimes have really seen a manager get actually anticipation behind. Because a lot of the time, we often have just either this is very sensible or this is a bit out there, but we'll just hope he's doing good. But Wouter Vrancken seems to come with a pedigree that we are not used to having. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I am excited, and to be honest, my fears when losing McInnes have been put quickly to bed. I think that's perhaps the most encouraging aspect of this. Um, Aside from that, struggling with hay fever. So yeah, on a personal note, it's rough. My nose is going like a tap, and again, if I sneeze or cough during this, then I wholeheartedly apologise. But yes, I am very excited by the appointment of Heart and Midlothian's new head coach, and it's put, yeah, just kind of the worries and fears that I had to bed, given his track record. You mentioned kind of within our lifetimes. I've also been speaking to jambos of kind of elder generations, and they can't quite remember somebody that's come with such a CV and track
Yeah.
record and pedigree um, down Gorgie Way. So yeah, I think kind of George Burley's the only one that's really kind of rivaled him in kind of modern history. Um, Whereas, yeah, the more that you read into Wouter Rankin's play style, his achievements with previous clubs, this has me, yeah, very, very excited. And also the fact that Scotland have been rotten at the World Cup. I can't wait to get the club football back anyway. But yeah, it's all steam ahead, I think, as far as I'm concerned. How are you doing?
I'm the same both in optimism and hay fever. This is only the second year in my life I've ever had hay fever, and it's hit me like a fucking train. Good God,
The
I
worst
am
kind.
really struggling. But what has alleviated my struggles is the appointment of Wouter Vrancken because yeah, I'm waiting for the catch. I'm waiting for there to be a reason that he's here because he's turned down in recent months and elect Burnley, St Etienne, Ferencváros were apparently talking to them, and Ludogorets, both in the
Ludogorets, yeah.
Hungarian divisions. And just, he seems like someone who has a much higher ceiling than us, but in that way that we see with what Fagan Walcott said the other day, where it's like, well, hopefully, as he gets closer to that ceiling, he takes us with him.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's obviously operated in Belgian football before, so he's kind of seen firsthand what Tony Bloom and Jamestown have done with Union
He said
Saint-Gilloise
that
is
he was
obviously
excited to
a
see like
massive
the
bullet point,
behind the
isn't it?
scenes of James Howe
Yeah.
after watching it from the outside for a few years.
So he's well aware as to kind of what the script is. And obviously I also think that the club did really well last year in terms of all eyes were kind of bestowed upon Scottish football. And Hearts were probably the real beneficiaries of that in terms of they've probably had interest in applicants that they necessarily wouldn't have had otherwise had we
Yeah.
not been off the back of the season last year. Um, so I think people are kind of wanting to be the ones to kind of take us over that line, aren't they? They're kind of wanting to come in, build on kind of a successful first proper season of Jamestown, Tony Bloom, what have you, and try and build on that and kind of, yeah. I guess you said that we'd kind of ran before we could walk. We might well be sprinting in a couple of months' time because the fixtures are coming thick and fast before we know it. So yeah, it's very, very exciting. I think I'm kind of with you in that I'm a bit concerned as that there must be some sort of catch
Yeah.
because is it just the fact that like Scottish football can't be that alien, can it? It can't be that unique. Like I obviously spoke about kind of wanting somebody with somewhat of a knowledge of Scottish football. Is that going to be our flaw here, or what do you think?
Maybe I do get that point. It is like we, we've never really seen a club in Scottish football do what we're doing, where it's
No.
almost just like, no, we're just going full continental style and trying to make it work in a league that rejects laptops. So therefore,
Well and truly against the grain, aren't we?
yes. So it's going to be interesting. But as we say, earlier this afternoon, as we record this, Heart Midlothian is delighted to confirm the appointment of. I'll keep wanting to say Wouter, but it's not. We don't think it is anyway. We think it's Wouter Vrancken as our new head coach. A highly regarded Belgian takes the Tynecastle reins after signing a 2-year deal with the Jambos. 47-year-old Wouter, a two-time Belgian Manager of the Year, arrives in Gorgie fresh off the back of transforming St Truiden from relegation candidates to Europa League participants in the space of a season.
That sounds familiar.
Exactly. A very interesting thing about Franken. We are the first club that he's managed that he didn't play for.
Yeah, and I also saw that in terms of his playing career, he went club to club and then managerially went backwards club
Yeah,
to club.
yeah.
That's
It's
quite
really,
unique,
it's weird.
quite
Um,
bizarre.
Former player the likes of St Truiden, Genk, and Ghent. Wouter took his first steps into coaching with low league Belgian side Gravelo over Pelt VV before spending a season in the top flight as an assistant at his last club, Kortrijk, I think is how you say it. And then he kind of just started going through the clubs that he'd played for. As we said, he went to Mechelen in 2018, where he took them back into the top tier and won the Belgian Cup. Becoming only the second non-top flight club to win the competition in its entire history. Then he had 3 top 8 finishes later, moved to Genk. He took them to the Conference League qualification and was named Manager of the Year after coming within minutes of losing the title, when lifting the title, which I then realised
Is
I
it Toby
remember
Alderweireld
seeing was
goal?
the Alderweireld goal,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh God, I actually do remember seeing that." Um,
because it was it to Antwerp. Is that who
yes,
he played? Yeah,
Antwerp. Yeah,
aye, that's right. Yeah,
He
mad.
then went to Ghent in 2024, but he then, for the 25-26 campaign, went to St Truiden, where he made his name as a player and just completely turned their fortunes around. For the years up until Franken appeared, they were kind of just going between relegation. They never actually got relegated, but they were in and around the idea of relegation. He actually took interim charge at the end of a season, managed to win like 9 of his last 12 games, so got the job full time. Then, as the Heart statement says, Wouter's attractive style of attacking football won both plaudits and points, taking the Canaries. I didn't know that was their nickname. It's them in Norwich, the linked cities
Do
that
they
are.
play in yellow and green? Is that what that is? Is that
They
why they're
must
nicknamed the
do,
Canaries?
surely. To a third place finish, their highest in 60 years, and a spot in the Europa League playoffs, which will be their first European appearance since 2003 and their first ever appearance in qualifiers associated with a major UEFA tournament. But perhaps most interestingly of all, he then chose to leave. Wouter then decided to resign and said he was ready for a new challenge. As we say, teams like Saint Etienne, Burnley, Lorient, Anderlecht, obviously a giant of Belgian football, all approached him. He turned all of them down. Funnily enough, Ian Cathro then went and got the
I
Saint
was going to say,
Etienne
did he
job.
miss out to Cathro, the San
Yeah.
Etienne gig?
And it appears that he has chosen us as his next challenge, which again feels quite Tony Bloom Jamestown in terms of we've been chosen to see if everything can work. Listen, it's a very good CV. It's a very, very good CV. But what is perhaps more exciting is his style of football. He's been described as having organised chaos, basically.
Fuck yes.
Which sounds right up Hearts fan street. And it does seem to be Gegenpress on steroids, basically, where he is very famous in not liking possession. He wants the ball, but the ball with intent. He wants to have upward vertical mobility, which I know to some of our audience will hate that phrase, but for you and me, that is proper FM, loving that type of pattern.
I'm sold. I'm well and truly sold.
Basically, he wants fast wingers to. He doesn't typically like wingers hitting the byline then crossing. He wants wingers hitting the byline then cutting in and crossing or shooting, aka Saber Kariota. That's what his game is entirely based around. He wants one touch, two touch football. He wants triangles in the middle of the park. He favours a 4-3-3 slash a 4-2-3-1 system, which most of this squad has been playing with already, to be honest. He wants every single one of his players to be ball players. It does not matter where you play on the pitch. You have to be confident and comfortable on the ball, aka Fagan Walcott should be our starting centre half from now until the end of time. With him, Jordi Altena is probably delighted about this and
He's
thinking he's
licking
going
his
to be a
lips.
starter.
That's what I was going to ask. Who do you think are kind of the main beneficiaries of this playing style? Because
Borch,
you mentioned a
Kajota,
couple of them there.
Altena, Fagan
Kajota.
Walcott.
Could we see somebody like, and I don't know why, I've got a wee sneaky feeling that we might see a resurrection of Elton Kabangu.
It
Yeah.
absolutely could favour Cabangi just playing off the shoulder and going in
I
behind. Like,
yeah.
absolutely.
I don't know why. I've just got a sneaky suspicious feeling that he could be not back to necessarily the main man, but could have a part to play. I've also been looking at his kind of win percentages, and I posted this on
Yeah.
the Twitter account. But Lommel 63.6%, Mechelen 48.2%, Genk exactly 50%, Ghent at 47.2%, and St. Troiden at 53.3%. 331 games managed, 165 won, 73 draws, 93 losses, 49.85 win percentage overall.
Unbelievable.
And he's married, has two daughters and a son, and he's fought alligators whilst on holiday,
Big Mad
according to his
Steve.
Wikipedia. Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Pop day the nickname Steve. So I'm going to order one of those mad Australian hats with the dangly bits, get the big fuck off flags, get my inflatable kangaroos looked out. It's going to be a hell of a time. Can't wait.
We also have not messed about with this appointment because today, on the 25th of June, the players came back for the first days of pre season, and on Monday, fly to Spain. The style of football is very different in McInnes. I think listening to Vranken's, I've not watched his press conference, but I've watched his interview with the club. And he himself makes the point that there's probably going to be a lot of changes, especially in this warm weather training camp. Do you see the start of the season being an askew situation of last season where there will be stumbles along the way as we try and get used to the style of play? But the thing about Askew at Motherwell last season was Motherwell fans bought into it so quickly because they could see what the plan was. They go 3-0 up against us, but then end up drawing 3-all. They get battered at Parkhead. They stumble at home to Falkirk and stuff like that.
But they
But
drew with Clyde in the group stages of the
yes,
League Cup.
exactly. However, it was obviously an unmitigated success for Motherwell, and part of that, as you said, is because the supporters gave him time. The argument with us is that we are the least patient fan base in the world, and we are starting with Champions League qualifiers and an away trip to Pittodrie. Are you slightly worried that we are going to be the architects of our own downfall because we don't give them enough patience if we don't just immediately beat teams 4 or 5-0?
This has absolutely no bearing on his appointment, but I was worried as soon as the fixtures came out and I saw that we were headed to Pittodrie on the opening
Fair.
day anyway, mate. No, of course. It's not kind of the ideal start for bedding in a new play style. If I've kind of spoke at length, haven't I, about kind of missing out on the League Cup group stages. This actually would have been really beneficial to
It
have
would have
those
been
games
class. Just putting
to try.
Dunbar into the
Yeah,
swords.
absolutely pop it around them. But sadly, that won't be the case. But to be honest, that should be seen as a blessing. Instead, it's kind of the friendlies, isn't it? So obviously, we've got Vallecano lined up
Yep.
at Tynecastle. But aside from that, I don't think we've really announced anything. I mean,
I think
I'm assuming they play a couple of games in Spain, will
we've
they?
got two in Spain, but I don't know who they're against.
So, yeah, I mean, not that it matters. I mean, I would like it to be a side that we should ultimately be beating so that you can kind of see that come to fruition. But equally, it might be beneficial if it's a side that are, just better than us. There's no
Yeah.
shame in that either. So, yeah, I'd be kind of intrigued to see what happens with regards to kind of other friendlies that are lined up. But yeah, I think so. I think that's just kind of the modern way, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to get kind of too deep, but I also think with everything that's kind of surrounded Scotland, I think this is just a nationwide issue anyway. I think young players aren't given enough opportunity, and one thing that you've just said there, our managers are under pressure, from the get-go, and ultimately will opt for experienced players rather than kind of young homegrown talent. So this is a far greater conversation for another podcast. So I'm not going to bore everybody to tears with that kind of chat on here. But um, I think regardless of whoever was coming in on kind of post McInnes, it's it's a healthy state for the club to be left in. It's certainly not like the Hearts that he inherited. Um, but yeah, there will be kind of that initial concern when adapting to kind of new ideologies, new ways of thinking.
But overall, are you happy with this appointment?
And I hate to do this. I hate to give you any form of credit, really. But you kind of said this, not in terms of this name, but in terms of like somebody that's kind of flown under the radar in terms of the mainstream media and just kind of gets it and given it. So I can see you bobbing your head there in joy and
Keep
delirium.
going.
But yes, you that's some shout from you, to be fair, mate. I'll give you that. I'll concede that's very well researched on your part. It's either that or you've been told that. I mean, there's no way that you've just kind of thought of that off the cuff, but you might have.
I'm that good, mate. I'm that good. To be honest, I don't think we'll ever have a better ending to a video ever. You just covering me in praise. So we're going to end it there. Massive thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please let us know in the comments. Please let us know your thoughts on Wouter Vrancken as the new Hearts head coach. Also, you can tweet us, everything like that. All the socials were Perth to Paisley. Perth to Paisley at gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email as well. Adam, where can they get you on all the socials?
You can find me slating Daniel McIver to no end, like the
That is
relentless
true.
keyboard warrior that I am, at Adam T Kennedy 98.
We'll be back tomorrow in the same clothes because again we're doing a double record. There's so much happening, right? Because Hearts have also we've had a mini French Revolution, and we're about to cover Guendouzi and Renault, which will come out in a video tomorrow. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Come on the Hearts!